Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So things you will need to create this beautiful beret are: you need a skein of yarn, a medium 4 yarn. This happens to be 7 ounces or 197 grams, 440 yards or 402 meters. You need a pair of scissors. You need 2 to 3 stitch markers. You need a darning weaving tapestry needle. You need a crochet hook to accompany the yarn. This is a size H US and it's 5 millimeters. And then you'll need a tape measure to compare your measurements to mine. Let's get started. So we're going to start out with the slip knot. We'll take our yarn, wrap it around our finger, we'll twist exchange, then we'll wrap it around our finger that way. Pull this one over that one and off your finger while lifting up on the loop on your finger. Insert your crochet hook and then pull to tighten. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And in that very first chain, we're going to put 12 double crochet. So in that very first chain there, we're going to put 12 double crochet. Let's make the first one. To make a double crochet, you yarn over once, go back to that first chain, enter, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to make another double crochet in there, yarn over, re-enter that same first chain, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. I've made 2 double crochet. I have 10 more to make. I'll meet you once I do. So I have my 12 double crochet made. I'm back around and I see that there are 2 chains there. Those are the 2 chains that were created when we made this first double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, or our first chain. These 2 chains in this pattern will never count, okay? So we're going to ignore them. We'll bypass them and we're going to slip stitch into the actual first double crochet there. Okay, so bypass the 2 chains and then slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet, slicing the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, and then pulling all the way through. That's round 1. Round 1 has 12 stitches. To start round 2, we'll chain 2, 1, 2. Remember, that will not count as a stitch. The pattern for round 2 is 2 stitches in every stitch around. So we're going to have a total of 24 stitches by the time we end round 2. Because this chain 2 doesn't count, we need to put 2 stitches into that first double crochet that we just slip stitched into. So we're going to insert our crochet hook there and add 2 double crochet to get us started. Right there, 1, and then back in there for 2. And now we're going to continue putting 2 double crochet in every double crochet around. Next one. 1. Back in there for 2. I have 4 double crochet made. I have 20 more to make. I'll meet you there. Back around to that last stitch. This is 23. And then back in there one more time for 24. So round 2 has 24 stitches. Once again, I'm ignoring those 2 chains there and I'm going to slip stitch into the first actual double crochet, which is that one of round 2. So yarn over, pull all the way through. To start round 3, we'll chain 2, which will not count as a stitch. The pattern for round 2 is 1, 2. So the first stitch will get 1, the next stitch will get 2. Because where we slip stitched into that first double crochet, that chain 2 doesn't count, we need to put a stitch there. So always put a stitch where you slip stitch. So the first one gets a 1, so I'll go in there, slicing the icing off the top of the cake. Same place where I went in to slip stitch. That's where my 1 goes. And now the next double crochet over will get 2. 1, back in there for 2. The next one here will get 1. The next one there will get 2. 1, back in there for 2. Continue in that pattern around. I'll meet you there. Round 3 will have a total of 36 stitches. I'm back around. I'll bypass the chain 2, go into the first double crochet, slicing the icing off top of the cake, and slip stitching. So round 3 has 36 stitches. Let's start round 4. Chain 2, 1, 2 does not count as a stitch. The pattern for round 4 is now 1, 1, 2. So you just add another 1 before you get to the 2 for every increase round. Because this chain 2 doesn't count, we need to go in there and put a double crochet for the 1. So yarn over, go right where you slip stitched into that first double crochet and make a double crochet. That's 1. We have another 1 to make, so this next one will also get 1. And now this third one will get 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 1. Third stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. At the end of round 4, you should have a total of 48 stitches. I'll meet you there. I'm going to show you one more increase round. So I'm back around, bypass the chain 2, slip stitch into the double crochet, the first double crochet. And now to start round 5, I'll chain 2, 1, 2, does not count as a stitch. So I'm going to have to crochet a double crochet into the same place where I slip stitch. But first things first, the pattern for round 5 is 1, 1, 1, 2. So remember, just add another 1 for every successive increase round. So I'm going to put a double crochet in that first double crochet where I slip stitch. That's 1. The next stitch will get 1. The next stitch will also get 1. And then that fourth stitch will get 2. Back in there for 2. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets 1. Final stitch gets 2. Back in there for 2. So at the end of round 5, you should have a total of 60 stitches. I'll meet you there. I'm at my last stitch. Remember, your last stitch should always get 2 because the pattern ends on a 2. Regardless of how many ever ones there are before it, it ends on the 2. So that means that last stitch of your round should always get 2. This is 59, and then back in there for 60. Bypass the chain 2, slip stitch into the first double crochet. Okay, and that's what we have. So I'm going to keep increasing until I get the diameter to be about 10 or 11 inches, like maybe 25.5 to like 28 centimeters roughly, okay, wide. And so like I said, for every successive increase round, just add another 1 before that 2, okay. So this one was 3 1s and 2. Round 6 would be 4 1s, then 2. Round 7 would be 5 1s, then 2. Round 8 would be 6 1s, then 2. You guys get it, okay? I'll meet you once I've gotten my diameter where I want it to be, and then we'll start with some non-increase rounds. So I've completed 9 rounds of this pattern. Round 9 has 108 stitches. Just multiply whatever round number you're on by 12, and that's how many stitches you should have. And now I have the diameter of like 10.75 inches or 27.5 centimeters, something like that. So it is sufficiently large, wide enough for me. So now I'm going to do 3 rounds of non-increase, in which I just put 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So to start round 10, I'll chain 2, 1, 2, doesn't count. And because it doesn't count, that first double crochet where I went into slip stitch needs a double crochet. And then I'm just going to go around next stitch and put 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Next stitch. Okay, so do 3 rounds of this, rounds 10, 11, and 12, and I'll meet you once we're about to start round 13. See you there. So I am completing my 3rd non-increase round. So I'm bypassing the chain 2, slip stitching into the first double crochet. Alright, and now I'm starting the next round, would be for me round 13. So it's time to decrease. I increased, right? And then I maintained for 3 rounds, and now I'm going to decrease because it's time to start closing up this big hole. So I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. For me, my last increase round was 7 ones and then a 2. Okay, so if we go back, 1, 2, 3, here. Alright. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that 8th stitch got 2. Okay? So that means I used a total of 8 stitches. Okay? So to go the reverse, I'm going to pick up where I left off, but I'm going to start decreasing. So I know I need to use a total of 8 stitches for this decrease. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the first 6 stitches, and then I'm going to decrease over the 7th and 8th stitch. So I'm still using 8 stitches. Let me show you. So as always, put 1 double crochet right where you slip stitched. So that's 1. Next stitch is 2. Next stitch is 3. Next stitch is 4. Next stitch is 5. Next stitch is 6. And now I've used 6 stitches, but remember I told you I need to use 8 and I need to decrease. So over the 7th and the 8th stitch, that's where I'm going to decrease. Let me show you how to decrease with the double crochet. You yarn over, enter the next stitch, that's the 7th one, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2. 1, 2. Pause. Yarn over, enter the next stitch, the 8th stitch, yarn over, pull through to the front for 4 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, and now we have 3 loops remaining on our hook, and we yarn over and go through all 3. 1, 2, 3. And so what that means is we've decreased over those 2 stitches, and we've met our goal of doing it over 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In the 7th and 8th stitch, we have made it 1 stitch, so we decreased. I'll show you one more time. 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, next stitch, 4, next stitch, 5, next stitch, 6. Now we need to decrease over the 7th and 8th. So enter, yarn over, go through 2, pause, yarn over, go into the 8th stitch, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, go through all 3. Okay, so you'll decrease in that manner all the way back around. I'll see you there. So I'm almost back around. I just did a decrease over the 7th and 8th stitch there, and I have 4 left, so just finish the pattern out. So 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, and the final stitch of that round 13, is 4. Bypass the chain 2, slip stitch into the first double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2. Alright, so for the next round we're going to do another decrease because this opening is still kind of big. Alright, and we're just going to base it off of what we just did and decrease by 1 more. So there are basically 6 ones and then a decrease. So now we're going to do 5 ones and a decrease. So the first 5 stitches, including that first one where we slip stitch, will get a 1. So go in there as always, put your double crochet. So that's 1. Next stitch is 2. Next stitch is 3. Next stitch is 4. Next stitch is 5. Okay, now it's time to decrease. So over this one and that one we're going to decrease. Pause, yarn over, enter the next one, yarn over, go through 2, and then yarn over, go through 3. Next stitch gets 1. Next stitch gets the second one, that's 2. Next one, 3, next one, 4, next one, 5, and now decrease. Enter, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, pause, yarn over, and then the next one, which happens to be the previous decrease, the decrease of the previous round, 3 loops, yarn over, go through 3, and continue in that fashion. I'll meet you there. I'm almost back around. Once again, I have 4 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just did a 2. I just did a decrease, so I'm just going to put 1 double crochet in the remaining 4. Alright, I'm going to do another decrease round for round 15. So bypass the chain 2, slip stitch, and then chain 2. And this time the pattern will be 4 ones and then a decrease. So the first 4, get 1, that's 1, next stitch, it's the 2, next stitch, 3, next stitch, 4, and then over the next 2 gets the decrease. Yarn over, go through 2, pause, yarn over, enter the previous decrease, slicing the icing off top of the cake, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 3. So 4 ones and then a decrease all the way around. I'll meet you there at the end of round 15. Once again, I'm left with 4 stitches, so I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each of the 4. And I'm going to bypass the chain 2, slip stitch into the first double crochet, and I'm ready to start round 16 by chaining 2. Alright, so we're done decreasing, and now we're going to do a non-increase round by putting 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So enter, make your double crochet, next stitch, 1 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 double crochet. I'll meet you there. To wrap up round 16, I'm going to bypass the chain 2 and slip stitch into the first double crochet. For those of you who are wondering, I have a total of 69 stitches now. It's okay if you don't have that number, okay? The important thing is that you're decreasing and making your opening smaller. Let's get to round 17, chain 2. Alright, and now we're going to start the front post, back post, double crochet, okay? So I'm going to start with the front post, and with this first double crochet, I'm going to do a front post double crochet. So I'll yarn over, from the front, go behind the stitch, back out to the front, yarn over, pull through for 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. The next stitch is going to get the back post. Yarn over from behind, go in front of the stitch, back out to the back. This is what it looks like on that side. Now yarn over, pull through for 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Now go back to the front post. Yarn over for this next stitch. Go behind the stitch. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Now go back to the back post for the next stitch. Yarn over from behind, go in front of the stitch, back out to the back. Yarn over, pull through for 3 loops. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Continue alternating front post double crochet with back post double crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you there. So because I have an odd number of stitches, I'm going to end with the same stitch type that I began with. I began with a front post double crochet, so I'm going to end with one as well. When I alternate, back post, front post. Bypass the chain 2, slip stitch into that front post double crochet. Chain 2. And now we're just going to match the stitches. So this is a front post, so I'm going to put a front post around it. Yarn over, go behind the stitch, yarn over, and make your front post. This next one back there, hiding, is a back post double crochet, so we're going to match it and put a back post. Yarn over from the back, go in front of it, back out to the back, yarn over, pull through, complete your double crochet. The next one is a front post. sticking out front, go behind it, yarn over, and complete your front post. Next one is the back post. Okay, so I'm going to do, including this round, 3 to 4 more rounds of this alternating front post double crochet with back post double crochet, and then we'll wrap up this video. Alright, so I'm back around. This is my 4th round of the front post double crochet, back post double crochet. Okay, bypassing the chain 2, slip stitching into the first front post double crochet. And now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to cut my yarn and fasten off. Alright, this is going to serve as my tag. I like my tails to serve as the tag so I know where the back of my hats are. So I'm just going to go through some stitches, yarn over, pull it in. And I have a loop there, so I'm going to act like I'm chaining 1, and it'll create a knot like that. And then I'm just going to cut this down, and that's my tag. This starting tail we could weave in, but we're going to add the little nub and then tie some knots. So let's create the nub first. So we're going to start out once again with a slip knot. Leave a little bit of a tail because we're going to use it to secure it to the beret. So create a slip knot, insert your crochet hook, and then pull to tighten. And now we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are our 6 chains. We're going to crochet a slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. So here's the first chain from the hook, here's the second chain from the hook. So insert your crochet hook in there, yarn over, and pull all the way through like that. And then we're just going to continue putting slip stitches in the chains. The next one, pull all the way through. Next one, pull all the way through. Next one, pull all the way through. Last one, pull all the way through. And there you have your little nub. If you wanted to make it thicker, you could use single crochets. You could also use double strands, using 2 strands at the same time to make it thicker, but I don't really care about that, so I'm good with it. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to cut our yarn and then fasten off. Now we have these 2 tails with which we're going to use to secure it to the beret. So we have our beret. Here's the center. Here's our nub. We're going to take our crochet hook, and in round 1 we're going to go just in between 2 of the double crochets. We're going to hook the yarn on and pull it through to the inside like that. That's one side. Okay, now on the other side of that mini ring, opposite, we're going to insert our crochet hook in between 2 more double crochets there, and grab the other strand, hook it on, and pull it through to the inside like that. Now we have our 2 strands that are attached to the nub. Okay, see it there? So we're going to tie a couple of knots between those 2 strands. 1. Before you tie the second, check to see if you like its placement. I do. So now I'll tie that second knot. And now with this initial tail, I'm going to incorporate that into the knot tying as well, just so everything is super secure. Once you're satisfied, you feel like everything is as secure as you want it, then you can cut these down. Once again, I'll take one last look. I like it still. So I'm going to grab all these tails, cut them down. And this is my beret, you guys. Isn't that beautiful? Very easy to make. Beautiful, easy pattern. Made in 20 rounds using medium 4 yarn, which is what you guys were asking about. So there you go. If you want to see how to make a beret in 10 rounds, check out this video.